I have this thing that novellas for me are kind of like the perfect form. Fuck it, I'm spending the next 6 weeks reading novellas. Why turn your nose at fan fiction?
It's a completely different purpose.
And so I actually, a few months ago, I did a thing on novellas on my blog, just because I found that that's what got me back into reading. Like, I was really struggling to read during the pandemic. Just my brain was mush. And so novellas were a really good way to, they don't time-wise ask too much of you. I mean, they, some of them ask a lot of you emotionally and conceptually and whatever. But like in terms of just doing, like sitting down and reading, you can feel that you have achieved the completion of a book in the space of an hour or two, without having to commit longer time over several days. So anyway, I found I was reading a lot of novellas. So I thought, and people were talking a bit about novellas on social media, and I just thought I'd do this post on my blog about, 18 novellas under 180 pages. And it had like thousands of views. It was crazy. Like, and so I thought, well, and then I did a second one, and that also got really big, like buy-in. Yeah, I was like sort of shocked. And then when whoever it was told me about that I should booktube, I'm also not going to blog. Maybe if I just did a novella a day for the month of November. And so, yeah, I've done 17 or so thus far. And I'm kind of going through my bookshelves. It's a bit annoying because I packed my bookshelves. I had
during the move,
130 boxes of books.
God, but I love novellas, and I love that there's no trick, because short stories are good when you're short on time. But I find it hard to think I'm deliberately being deceived, or someone's trying to trick me, because there's always a twist, that kind of feeling. And I actually find that makes me really uneasy. I know
exactly what you mean. I have this thing that novellas for me are kind of like the perfect form. The skill to write one is so much greater than any other form, because I hugely admire and respect writing across the board, but there's something about distilling the full, idea and development and everything you would expect from a novel into something that's more than a short story. So it develops it further, but keeps it contained in 150 pages. You know what it was? It was Weather by Jenny Offal, right? Really good book. It's about maybe it's about 215 pages or something. But the font's pretty big. Like, really, it's actually a 150-page book. Yeah, and I've seen quite a few of those recently. But no, for me, it's just that's the other thing. Also, like I have some novellas which are 80 pages, but it's font size 3 with no line spacing, and it's actually the novellas are in actual text probably about as long as Infinite Jest or War and Peace or something. But compressed.
Magnifying glass required. So many used to be written. Foe. Courteous Foe.
Yeah. So I love that.
I went and had a look at the page limits on my books.
I don't know if you saw. Do you see that LitHub article? There was a LitHub, like the best, contemporary-ish. That it goes back to about the 1950s or something, but onwards. Novellas that everyone should read. But a lot of them were the kind of really obvious ones. They were the ones you'd expect that you should read. Like, I mean, they're great. Like, don't get me wrong. There were a lot of ones, not a lot, but there were a fair few that I actually hadn't heard of, and based on what the other ones were and knowing that they were great, I actually ended up tracking down the majority of the ones I hadn't read. A definitive list of good novellas, over the last, 60, 70 years, that list was pretty bang on. But so my kind of aim was to come up with ones that weren't included on that list. The problem when you say I don't want to include these ones, it makes it look like you're trying to be some sort of snobby wanker, trying to show.
I wounn't have said it, but
well, I'll go there. I'm trying to show my obscure knowledge of novellas, but I just read a lot of them. So and I enjoy them. And I don't. Do you do the Goodreads reading challenge thing where you set yourself a number of books each year and try to? But I always find around September I sort of think, crap, there's no way I'm getting to my number. So then I just go, fuck it, I'm spending the next 6 weeks reading novellas.
How many do you put on you normally? How many do you set?
I usually set between 120 and 150. Start kind of sharing the ones that I particularly liked.
Because even as I looked through them, I thought to myself, oh, okay, I can really quickly see which ones I'd like and which ones I wouldn't.
Definitely.
And,
I mean, that's the other thing as well. Like, you get 1 or 2 lines of description, and exactly as you say, like you go and go, yep, that is totally a me book. I'm getting it straight away. And there's others where you go, oh, I'd heard about that. It sounded interesting, but now looking at it, it doesn't really appeal. So that's on the back burner. That's the other thing. Novellas are like endurance training or just resistance training, because you suddenly find that you rip through a novella in an hour or two, and then when you get to the long books, you finish them in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. No, you have inspired me. I've got a bunch I haven't read yet, so.
And that's the other thing as well. That's what we all sort of just acquire novellas for some reason. I think they're really easy to just.
I love that. Well, it's my ultimate goal would be to write and also get it published, sort of thing. Like I would love that, and I've got one that's I've been working on for. It was the very first thing I wrote, but it stopped at 10,000 and wouldn't go any further. It was supposed to be a novel. And it stopped there, and I really need to make it longer. And I'm so fascinated by the form. And does it follow the exact story arc, or does it change the story arc slightly because it has to? So I get really fascinated by how little information there is out there on the form of the novella from a writer's perspective.
Yeah, like I don't know. I've spoken to a few people who write them, and like I think one that jumps to mind is Mirandi.
I spoke to Mirandi about it too.
Yeah, like the fish
I
girl,
bought her sentences about mine as well. Yeah.
But I'm exactly the same. My dream, and I always like every time a novella prize gets announced, and I buy it, like every one of those that comes out. Their strike rate on picking great novellas is incredible. But like my dream is to be able to write a novella, and either. If text were to want it, that'd be amazing, and I'd love them to publish it, and I would equally love to be able to submit it to Seizure, and
there are a couple of competitions out there.
Real sucker for just a standalone novella.
They're so sweet.
I know.
And Nick Earls, I did go to his thing. He does a little workshop.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing as well. He's one of the great
so good.
As well.
He's really helping because he's Brisbane. That's always nice. But they fit in your
bag. He's one of your people.
He's one of mine. He doesn't know that I'm one of his people because
he
wouldn't recognise me from. Yeah, they're light. They're easy to carry around. They're portable. Yeah. You can take them on a train. You can.
The compact convenience of a novella is one of its great strengths. I think people might find it easier to almost dismiss as essentially fan fiction. But why turn your nose at fan fiction? There's amazing fan fiction out there.
It's
anyway.
Different. It's a completely different purpose. Fan fiction's one
it is.
thing with its own valid in its own right.
Yes.
But no, I think for me they're different genres, even if they're the same length. Like you still have genre even once it's a novella.
But I mean in terms of in conversation, take a minor character from a book that you love and kind of respond to the book using its own characters.
I suppose, technically.
Conceptually, it is, we kind of raise it to a higher plane. And some people will be horribly insulted by saying that what they're doing is family. But why turn your nose at it? Embrace it. How great is it?
So interesting. Now you've that. Now I need to write another one. I need to pick a character in history and write.
I know, that's what I'm doing. I'm actually
autistic backstory. I want to be this is probably what was going on.
There has to be in characters that would be
so
amazing to actually flesh out properly.
Oh my goodness. Now my brain's spinning.
Thank you. Brilliant. And thanks. That was fun.